Spurgeon here today with RevZilla to talk to you about the Tourmaster Trinity women's boot available at RevZilla.com. So what you're getting for the Trinity ladies is the new top-of-the-line boot in Tourmaster's lineup. And we're really going to see this sit atop the Solution WP for around the $180 price point. You're getting about a $50 bump over the Solution. So let's just quickly address what you're getting with that. The main thing is you're changing the waterproof liner with this. You're now going to utilize an OutDry membrane that's going to be laminated to the inside of the boot. The benefit of this is that you're going to get better evaporation. So if you are using this in the warmer months of the year, it helps to wick sweat away better from the inside. And the other thing you'll note is that with the Hypora waterproof liner on this, because it's not going to be laminated, you're actually going to have a gap in between the exterior and the interior shell where that lamination or where that waterproof liner sits. So you run the risk of actually having water pool up in between the two layers of this particular boot. The other thing you'll notice is that with the Trinity, this is now going to be a CE rated boot, where the old Solution WP didn't have a CE rating for protection. You're now getting that with the Trinity. As we move around to the back, you'll see an increase in reflectivity along the back of the boot, so you now have an extra layer of reflectivity along the top. And the other thing you'll note is at the very top of the ankle, you now have this elasticated stretch area, which adds comfort. On the Solution, you don't have that. You have a pull-up, but there's no extra layer there, and this actually adds a nice layer of comfort for the new Trinity boot. The final thing that you'll notice here is that they've changed the actual sole. You've now gone to a dual compound sole with a revised tread pattern, so if you are in wet, slippery conditions, you now have a better grip with the new Trinity boot. And with that, we're going to move the Solution off the table and really focus on what you're getting with the Trinity women's boot from Tourmaster. So think 2-3 season and functionality. This is a waterproof boot, so if you are riding this in 95 degrees in the heat of the summer, it might get a little bit warm for you, even with the OutDry working to wick all of that sweat away. From a sizing standpoint, sizes are going to range from a 6.5 up to a 10. Fits true to size. We had a few different women in the office try this on. They said absolutely fits true to size. The one thing they did note is compared to the Solution, just a little bit narrower in the footbed. So they're not going to say it's a narrow boot, but it is going to be narrower when compared to the Solution, which was a tad bit wider. As we're working through this from the front to the back, one color is available. Full construction on this is a synthetic leather. So the note there, it's not going to break in the same way traditional leather would. So when you put this on out of the box, make sure it fits you exactly the way you want it to, because you're not going to have that same break-in the way you would with a leather boot. Around the front, reinforcement at the toe. You are going to have symmetry coming in with a shift panel on both boots. This is a TPR shift panel. Everybody knows you're not shifting anything with your right foot, but they did that to keep the symmetrical look, and it does have Tourmaster done in a scrolly little logo right up top. So reinforcement at the toe. Like I said earlier, you are going to have that new dual compound sole. From a rigidity standpoint, you are looking at about a 4 out of 10 on the rigidity scale. So this is going to still be comfortable for you to walk around in all day, but it's now going to be rigid enough that it's going to pass that CE rating for the test. Reinforcement at the heel. Like I said, you now have extra pops of reflective along the back of this, and at the very back of the ankle, you now have the elasticated stretch at the top for added comfort, while still getting reinforcements, a little bit of a shin protection. You can feel there's just a little bit of shin, kind of like a TPR almost, in the shin on this, and then you are going to have ankle cups as well. Accordion stretch down the front, so you do have a nice range of motion, and then interior zip to get in and out of the boot. Now we talked about OutDry, right? OutDry is going to be that laminated waterproof, and you can see exactly how tall this goes up. So this is going to be about an 11-inch boot. As long as you're wearing your waterproof pants that go down over top, you will have no problem staying dry. But the one note here is that a waterproof boot is only going to be as good as the waterproof pants you're wearing over the top. A lot of times if you sit down on the motorcycle, I've seen this time and time again, the waterproof pants pull up, you get a gap, and water pours in from the top. So just make sure that your waterproof liner or your waterproof pants go over top of the boot. Now there's a lot of women out there utilizing Tourmaster on their rides, and if you want to hear more about what those ladies have to say, all you have to do at this point in time is click the info button on your desktop or mobile device, which will allow you to read other rider reviews from folks that are already out there putting this boot through its paces. If you have more questions for one of our gear geeks, never hesitate to reach out and give them a shout. 877-792-9455, or simply shoot over an email to cs@RevZilla.com. Thank you for joining us for this look at the Tourmaster Trinity women's boot. I'm Spurge. Enjoy the ride.